In this video, we continue our discussion on cycle metrics of a graph. So here we are going to prove that the rank of a cycle matrix is m minus n plus 1, where m is the number of vertices, n is the number of vertices and m is the number of edges. So the statement reads as follows: if B is a cycle matrix of a connected graph G with n vertices and m edges, then the rank of B, rank of the cycle matrix is equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so again we are going to use the same idea that we use for proving the rank of incident matrix of a connected graph with n vertices is n minus 1. Okay, so here is the idea. So we will, using one argument, we will prove that rank of B is greater than or equal to m minus n plus 1, and using a different argument we will prove that rank of B is less than or equal to m minus n plus 1. So that says rank of B is at least m minus n plus 1 and at most m minus n plus 1. So if an integer is at least some quantity and at most at the same quantity, then that integer must be equal to that quantity. So these two implies rank of B is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so let's go and prove this statement. So first we will prove the first part here. So we will prove that rank of B is greater than or equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so let's go and prove this statement. Okay, so let G be a connected graph with n vertices and m edges. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to look at the fundamental cycle matrix of this graph. Okay, so we defined a fundamental cycle matrix in the previous video. So if you want to see the definition, watch the previous video. Okay, so then we can see that the fundamental cycle matrix B sub f is an m minus n plus 1 by m matrix. Okay, and the reason is that because, so let me go through an example. Okay, so suppose that this is our graph G and this is our fundamental cycle matrix of this graph G. So it has 3 columns and these 3 columns corresponds to the fundamental cycles in this graph. So if we look at this particular graph, so here let's consider a spanning tree, okay, which I am highlighting with red. Okay, so with respect to this spanning tree, okay, the chord edges are E2, E3, E2, E3 and E6. So if we add this edge E2 to our spanning tree, then we get a fundamental cycle. Similarly, adding E3 and E6 will result in a fundamental cycle. So that corresponds to Z1, Z2 and Z3. So Z1 corresponds to the fundamental circuit that is obtained by adding E2, Z2 corresponds to E3 and Z3 corresponds to E6. Okay, so we consider those 3 rows of the cycle matrix and we put that rows here to get the fundamental cycle matrix. So with respect to this spanning tree, the fundamental cycle matrix looks something like this. Okay, so that is going to be okay, so in this case, okay, this matrix is a 3 by 7, okay, 3 by 7 matrix, okay, where 3 is the number of chords, okay, 1 2 3, and 7 is the number of edges. So in general it will be like, okay, number of chords will be m minus the number of vertices in the spanning tree. Okay, number of edges in the spanning tree. So if we are dealing with a graph with n vertices, the number of edges in the spanning tree will be n minus 1. So the number of chord edges will be m minus n minus 1, which is nothing but m minus n plus 1. Okay, and that's what this 3 here is. Okay, so here the number of edges here is 7. Okay, and spanning tree, it has 4 edges. Okay, and that is equal to 3. Okay, so then this fundamental cycle matrix is a m minus n plus 1 by m matrix. So this m minus n plus 1 corresponds to the chords, and this m corresponds to the number of edges in the graph. Okay, so the reason is a matrix because the number of fundamental cycles is equal to m minus n plus 1, okay, which is exactly equal to the number of chord edges in the graph. Okay, each fundamental cycle being produced by one chord. Okay, so corresponding to each chord there will be a fundamental cycle. So that says number of rows in the fundamental cycle matrix will be m minus n plus 1, and the number of columns will be exactly equal to the number of edges in the graph. And okay, we know this fundamental cycle matrix is a submatrix of the cycle matrix, and okay, we only take the rows corresponding to the fundamental cycles, okay, in that graph to get B sub f. Okay, so then B sub f is an m minus n plus 1 by m matrix, because the number of fundamental cycles is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, because since each fundamental cycle being produced by one chord. Okay, next what we are going to do is we are going to do some manipulations on this matrix, okay, in such a way that so we try to bring this identity element here. So here we can see that there is an identity element here and this matrix here. Okay, so by permuting or by rearranging rows and columns. Okay, so first what we do is we arrange the columns of the fundamental cycle matrix such that all the m minus n plus 1 chords correspond to the first m minus n plus 1 columns of this matrix B sub f. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to arrange the columns of B sub f such that all the m minus n plus 1 chords corresponds to the first m minus n plus 1 columns. Okay, so something like this. So here the chord edges are E1, not E1, E2, E3 and E6. So what we do is, okay, we try to arrange them in such a way that the first m minus n plus 1, so in this case m minus n plus 1 is 3. Okay, so first 3 columns corresponds to those chord edges. Okay, and we then what we do is we rearrange the rows in such a way that we get an identity matrix here. Okay, so So then we rearrange the rows such that the first row corresponds to the first fundamental cycle. Okay, fundamental cycle means with respect to the first chord, so something like that. Rearrange the rows such that the first row corresponds to the fundamental cycle made by the chord in the first column. Okay, for example, so in this case we are considering E2 as the first chord. So what we do is we will put E2 here, and we try to bring this one here, something like that. Okay, so rearrange the rows such that the first row corresponds to the fundamental cycle made by the chord in the first column. Okay, and the second row to the fundamental cycle made by the second, and so forth. Okay, and the second row to the fundamental cycle made by the second, and so on. Okay, so something like this. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to rearrange the rows and columns in such a way that the first m minus n plus 1 columns corresponds to the chord edges, and the rows will also be rearranged in such a way that we get an identity matrix here. Okay, so since we have the identity matrix here, that says the rank of this matrix will be m minus n plus 1. Okay, so the rank of this B sub f fundamental cycle matrix will be m minus n plus 1, and since B sub f is a submatrix of the cycle matrix B, so that says the rank of the cycle matrix B will be greater than or equal to the rank of this matrix. Okay, so that's what we are trying to prove anyway. Okay, so rearrange the rows such that the first row corresponds to the fundamental cycle made by the chord in the first column, second row to the fundamental cycle made by the second, and so on. Okay, so what we did is we converted this B sub f fundamental cycle matrix in this form, where the first portion looks something like an identity, okay, of some order, and the other BT. Okay, so where this I sub u is an identity matrix of order mu, okay, where mu is equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, and for example, if you look here, okay, this submatrix, it corresponds to, okay, so this corresponds to this I sub u, okay, where mu is equal to 3. So the order of this matrix is 3 by 3, and okay, this matrix, it is going to be okay, B sub B sub t, okay, B sub t, and the order of this matrix will be, okay, the number of rows is same, so it is going to be a 3 by, okay, and here this corresponds to the branch edges in this okay, branch edges with respect to the spanning tree here. So the number of, okay, or with respect to the spanning tree, and that corresponds to 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 4 branch edges. So that will be a 3 by 4. In general, it will be like okay, m minus n plus 1 for this one, okay, by n minus 1. Okay, so if a graph has n vertices, connected graph has n vertices, then the number of branches will be equal to n minus 1. Okay, so that's how we build this matrix. Okay, so we can write this bf in this way, b sub f in this way, where I sub mu is an identity matrix of order m minus n plus 1 by m minus n plus 1, and this b sub t is the remaining mu by, where mu is equal to m minus n plus 1 by n minus 1 submatrix. Okay, and that submatrix corresponds to the branch edges of the spanning tree. Okay, submatrix corresponding to the branch edges of the spanning tree. Okay, so from this equation we can very easily see that, so we rewrote this particular matrix in this way, right? I sub mu and b sub t. Okay, so if you look here, we can see that the identity matrix is sitting here. So the rank of this matrix will be equal to the order of this identity matrix. So that's what we can see from this example. The rank of this matrix will be equal to 3. Okay, so we have the rank of b sub f is exactly equal to the rank of this identity matrix, and rank of this identity matrix is equal to mu, which is equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, and this is the rank of b sub f. Okay, and we know that b sub f is a submatrix of the cycle matrix. Okay, since b sub f is a submatrix of the cycle matrix, B, okay, we have the rank of B is greater than or equal to rank of B sub f, okay, which is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so let that be our equation 1. Okay, so here we proved rank of B is greater than or equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, using this argument. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to prove this one. So then after that we will combine these two to get our result. Okay. Okay, so let's do that in a new page. Okay, so we are trying to prove that rank of B, okay, we proved it is greater than or equal to m minus n plus 1. So next we are going to prove that this is less than or equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so if you are able to prove this, okay, then combining this and the previous result, we can say that the rank of B, okay, is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so in order to prove this thing, we are going to consider the incident matrix. Okay, so let A be the incidence matrix of G. Okay, so then we know that the rows of incident matrix A and rows of the cycle matrix B are orthogonal. Okay, then in a previous video we proved they are orthogonal by using this result. If we take the product of this matrix and this matrix B transpose, so we get a zero matrix. Okay, and we are doing the operation addition modulo 2. Okay, so we proved this one. If we take this matrix A, incident matrix, and the transpose of the cycle matrix, and if you multiply by 2, we get a zero matrix. So here the operation is modulo 2. Okay, so we proved this statement in a previous video. Okay, and next what we are going to do is we are going to use what is called a Sylvester's rank inequality from linear algebra. Okay, so next we are going to use this inequality, Sylvester's rank inequality. So this inequality says if A is a m by n matrix and B is a n by k matrix, then rank of A plus rank of B minus n, okay, where this n corresponds to the common thing here, okay, the column of the first matrix and the row of the number of rows of the second matrix. So okay, this inequality says rank of A plus rank of B minus n is less than or equal to rank of AB. So for our purpose, what we are going to do is, okay, we are going to consider A, okay, our incident matrix. Okay, so matrix, and we know the order of this matrix is m by a. So number of rows is n is the number of vertices, and number of columns is m, where m is the number of edges. Okay, and we know the cycle matrix B, the order of this is r by m, okay, where r is the number of different cycles in that graph, okay, and m is the number of edges. Okay, so here you can see that we cannot multiply these two, so we are going to consider B transpose here. So B transpose will be a m by r matrix, so we can multiply these two. Okay, so we are going to consider this product AB transpose. Okay, so the order is correct here, so it is going to be like n by m times m by r. Okay, so here this m is common to both A and B transpose here. So okay, so this m is going to do our purpose for n here. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we will use this inequality. So for our purpose, our inequality will look something like rank of A, the incident matrix, plus rank of B transpose, okay, where B is our cycle matrix, minus, and the common thing here is n, and the common thing here is m, okay, less than or equal to rank of AB. Okay, so we are going to use in this form. Okay, so using Sylvester's rank inequality, okay, Sylvester's rank inequality, okay, we can write something like this: rank of A plus rank of B transpose minus the number of columns m, okay, is less than or equal to rank of A B transpose. Okay, so let's call, anyway we are going to use this equation here, let's call this 2. Okay, so but we know from linear algebra that rank of B transpose is equal to rank of B, and okay, from 2 we know that rank of this product AB transpose. So AB transpose is a 0 matrix, so rank of that matrix will be equal to 0. Okay, so that says we can write this inequality as rank of A plus rank of B minus m less than or equal to 0. Okay, so okay, so we can write something like rank of A plus rank of B, okay, since rank of B is equal to rank of B transpose. So rank of A plus rank of B minus m is less than or equal to rank of A B transpose is equal to 0, right? So we can write that something like this, and rearranging this we get, so anyway we are trying to find the rank of B. Okay, rank of B is less than or equal to M minus rank of A. And since A is the incident matrix, rank of A is n minus 1. Okay, so that we proved in a previous video. So that says this is nothing but, and rank of A for a connected graph is exactly equal to n minus 1. Okay, and that says this is equal to m minus n plus 1. Okay, so let's call this equation 3. Okay, so this says rank of B is less than or equal to m minus n plus 1, and we already proved rank of B is greater than or equal to m minus n plus 1. So combining 1 and 2, we get the required result. Okay, so this is greater than or equal to, and here we proved rank is less than or equal to, right? So combining 1 and 3, okay, we get rank of B is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1, and hence the proof. Okay, so we proved the rank of a cycle matrix is m minus n plus 1, where m is the number of edges and n is the number of vertices. Okay, so this is for a connected graph. Let's see what is going to happen if the graph is a disconnected one. So we are going to generalize this to disconnected graph also, and that is going to be a corollary for the statement that we proved. Okay, so so the statement reads as follows: if B is a cycle matrix of a disconnected graph with n vertices, m edges and k components, then the rank of B is equal to m minus n plus k. Okay, so if the graph is connected, then k is equal to 1. So we already proved if that's the case, then rank of the cycle matrix is exactly equal to m minus n plus 1. So here we are going to prove for disconnected graph. Okay, this particular statement, it follows from the previous one. Okay, and the proof is going to be a very simple proof here. Okay, so let's prove this one. So let B be a cycle matrix of the disconnected graph so of a disconnected graph G with n vertices and m edges. N vertices, m edges and k connected components, and let the k connected components be, say, G1, G2, etc., Gk, and let this G1 Gi be with ni vertices and mi edges, okay, with, say, n1, n2 up to nk vertices and m1, m2, mk edges respectively. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. Okay, then again we can see very easily see that n is equal to n1 plus n2 up to n sub k, and the number of edges will be the sum of the individual edges. Okay, m2, okay. Okay, so let's consider each component and consider the cycle matrix corresponding to each component. So let that be, say, B1, B2, etc. up to Bk. So let B1 up to Bk be the cycle matrix of the different components G1, G2 up to Gk. Okay, so then by using the property of cycle matrices, okay, then we can write this Bg as a block matrix form, something like this. Okay, take the cycle matrix corresponding to G, so Bg1, okay, place that here. Okay, take the cycle matrix for G2, put that here, etc., etc., and put the last one here. Okay, and everything else 0. Okay, so we can always do something like this. So this will be the cycle matrix for the graph B. Okay, and again we can consider, okay, each component as a it's a connected one, so a connected component kind of thing. So we can apply the previous result to each and every components here. Okay, so from the previous theorem we know the rank of each Bi, okay, that is equal to Mi minus Ni plus 1. Okay, for 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to k. So each one is a connected and has Mi edges and Ni vertices. So the rank of Bi, okay, rank of Bi will be equal to Mi minus Ni plus 1. Okay, using the previous theorem. So that says therefore the rank of B is nothing but the sum of the rank of the individual connected components. So that is going to be the rank of B1 plus rank of B2 plus etc., etc., plus rank of Bk. So from this we know the rank of B1 is M1 minus N1 plus 1. Rank of B2 will be like M2 minus N2 plus 1, etc., etc., and the rank of Bk will be like Mk minus Nk plus 1. So okay, this M1, M2 up to Mk is nothing but M, and this N1, N2, Nk, okay, that is not, if you sum them you get total number of vertices, and here we have k ones, so that corresponds to k, and that's the, and hence the result. Okay, so that says if B is a cycle matrix of a disconnected graph G with n vertices and m edges and k connected components, then rank of B is equal to m minus n plus k. Okay, and if the graph is connected, then we saw the rank will be, rank of this cycle matrix will be m minus n plus k.